My sister wanted my wedding to be all about her.
Well, maybe she should get married.
And folks, this comes directly from the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm getting married in August this year. Me, female 28, and my fiance, male 29, are very excited and looking forward to it. I made my sister, female 43, my maid of honor because I knew how much it would mean to her. As my maid of honor, she was planning my bachelorette party as a surprise to me. She recently had a baby who is gorgeous, but when she was still pregnant, she basically told me that she can't drink at my party, and she would have to bring the baby along as they would be too young to leave. The baby would be about 3-ish months old. By the way, this comes from Throwin' Shade 499, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I asked for a very simple occasion that wouldn't cost people a lot of money. Just food and drinks in my local city, and possibly a cocktail making class, as I have always found those fun before. However, my maid of honor was having difficulty finding a bar that would allow her to bring her infant son along to the cocktail class. She constantly told me that she can't do that, and so she was going to let one of my other bridesmaids organize it because she wouldn't plan a party she couldn't go to, which I told her was fine if she didn't feel comfortable planning it and that my other bridesmaids could plan. This annoyed her as she wanted me to change my expectations and centered it around what she could attend. She wanted to try and involve my young nieces and nephews from both mine and my fiance's side in the party process, like having one where the kids could get involved. I said the kids don't need to be involved, as in my opinion, it's a very adult occasion and I spend as much time as I can with all the kids anyway. So my maid of honor eventually had an idea and organized a party. The other bridesmaids basically kept telling me that they didn't even know what was happening, and they were constantly offering her to help, which she declined. Eventually, my mom, female 67, had to tell her to utilize the others who were more than willing to help, as she was busy with a new baby. Totally understandable. Then the party came, and at first I thought it was a cool and neat idea. But after a while, it started to feel like a kid's party with crafting and stuff. Yeah, she's throwing a party for her baby, which I wasn't really interested in and had explicitly asked for there to be no crafting. I like crafting in my spare time as a hobby, knitting, crocheting, and cross-stitching, and I've done pottery painting a few times too. I wanted a night off from crafting as I do it almost daily anyway. The cocktail we made was done at a table, not behind a bar, and was done in groups. So it felt like when you were doing something in groups at school and you had to take turns pouring the stuff into the cocktail shaker, with the bartender actually talking to us like kids at one point. As my maid of honor had to keep going off to the side to feed the baby, my future sister-in-law took up running some games and activities during this time so that there wasn't a lull. I realized the effort that went into it and did not want to seem ungrateful, so constantly thanked my mom and maid of honor for their efforts and my other bridesmaids for the small parts they played. After this main event, a few of us went out for more food, drinks, and dancing. I realized, although it wasn't really what I wanted, a lot of effort went into it, and we did have fun during some of it. My future sister-in-law, female 33, is one of my bridesmaids, as I love her so much and feel lucky I have in-laws I love so much. I felt like I talked with people throughout. There were about 15 people plus me. But having been seated at the top of the table, I included everyone as much as I could. Plus, we had games too, which integrated everyone. It doesn't sound like that bad. My future sister-in-law knew I was a tad uneasy about the baby being there due to booze being involved. Maid of honor wasn't drinking. So she was keeping an eye on that and making sure nothing went wrong so I could relax. Anyway, fast forward to the next day. I stayed at my future sister-in-law's house as she came out dancing with us after and wanted to make sure I was safe. After sleeping in and getting takeout breakfast, I made my way back to my mom's house. They had taken some of my gifts and party favors back to their home for me, so I didn't have to carry them around with me. I walked in and could instantly tell something wasn't right, as when my mom saw me, she didn't seem happy. I said my pleasantries and asked what was wrong. My mom then started shouting and screaming at me. She let rip at me for God knows how long about how I ignored everyone but my future sister-in-law and other bridesmaids, and that I had taken everything they had done for granted and not said thank you once.
Yeah.
I pointed out I thanked everyone who had a part to play, especially my mom and maid of honor. Every time I thanked my mom at the event itself, she told me it was all my maid of honor and she didn't need the thanks. So I posted a thank you on Facebook, and now she was angry she wasn't mentioned in it.
Dang, what a completely useless thing to be upset about.
Truly. It was a lose-lose situation. She then proceeded to shout about all the effort that went into it, how much it had cost, and that my other bridesmaids had paid small amounts for what they had done and were expecting for my mom and maid of honor to pay, which didn't sound like them at all. She also decided to remind me that future sister-in-law is not my family, and as much as future sister-in-law wants me to be the sister she never had, that I will never be her sister. Girl, calm yourself down. What is going on? Why are you freaking out? And this is what I found most hurtful, as to me, it speaks to her state of mind of people who have married and are yet to marry into the family, including my fiance.
Yeah.
Will my mom ever truly see fiance as family? Even when we have been married for 10, 20, 30 years? It was so hurtful and upsetting, and I told her I'm glad she's made her views on in-laws not being family, and that I would be sure to tell fiance that he will never be treated like family by my mom. I told her I'll be sure to tell my two brothers' wives the same thing. My dad was trying to stick up for her and said that's not what she meant, but that I ignored my own sister in favor of my future sister-in-law, which isn't even true. My dad tried to get us to calm down and talk things out, but I was so angry. I said all I did was bend over to make my sister comfortable at that party, how I had to sacrifice the party I wanted so she could feel more included, and that everything about this wedding has been about accommodating her. We had to try on so many bridesmaids' dresses because she didn't like the ones I had picked out because she wouldn't be able to breastfeed. That is a fair concern, but I feel like there's got to be some easier fix. We had to seat her next to my mom so she could have help with her eldest child. She's a single mom. I even wasn't allowed to ask my future sister-in-law to wedding dress fittings because it would upset her. Okay, well, no, it's your wedding dress fitting. Why did you make her your maid of honor?
Anyone
else would have been
bring
good.
whoever you want to this event.
My sister even fought me on what we had asked her to read at the wedding ceremony because she didn't like it and wanted what we had asked my sister-in-law, brother's wife, to read. I told my mom I'm done making allowances for my sister and making this wedding about her just because she's jealous that I'm getting married. I left sobbing and called one of my friends, who is a BM, bridesmaid, and lived close by to tell her what happened and could I drop by, as I didn't want to go home in such a state. I called my fiance, who was so angry he offered to come get me, but I said I was at a friend's house having a coffee and that I'll come home when I've calmed down. We then conference called with future sister-in-law and my other friend/bridesmaid, and I told them all what happened, cried some more, and then eventually calmed down enough to go home. My fiance is angry and wants to say something to them, which I think would just make things worse. I think so too.
I think if you said something in anger, it would make things worse.
But I don't know. I
Seldom
think
does
you
that
just
work.
need to start setting up those boundaries. And if they say, well, we want to do this, you say, well, I'm sorry, it's going to happen like this. And if they don't like it, they don't have to come.
Boom.
My mom has tried calling me multiple times and then texted me to say what I said was horrible, and that I was an a-hole for rubbing my sister's face in the fact that I'm getting married while she's still single. So am I the a-hole? And folks, you'll never be single when you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio if you want to feel connected to someone.
That's right. You won't have to feel single for 69 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how many stories we have. That's how many days worth of stories.
It's true, guys.
24 hours times 69.
But there's a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of complicated stuff going on here. It's like clearly your sister had a baby and she's kind of mad that she doesn't have a husband.
Yeah.
So
I guess I would
that's
ask.
messy.
I would ask, like, has she always been like this? Is this kind of new behavior? Is her having to raise a child as a single mother contributing to any of this kind of obsessiveness and controllingness, Or has she always been like this? And maybe we need distance.
Information.
Yeah. But folks, we got a little bit left. Honestly, so shocked at how many people reached out with help, advice, and support. I am somewhat of a people pleaser and do love my family and don't feel mentally ready to go no contact. But I am going to go low contact under the assumption that I am busy with last-minute wedding preparations. My wedding is actually next week. I don't want to rock the boat, so my future sister-in-law is stepping up as interference for my sister. As my sister is breastfeeding, I have also warned my photographers to avoid my sister for the candid shots and just have the few posed ones. My 3 other bridesmaids, including future sister-in-law, have said they have a surprise plan for me in 2 days. Oh, these are the good
Ooh.
ones. These are the good people. I thought
That could
okay.
be fun.
Maybe they're throwing you a bridal party or a bachelorette that you actually want.
No crafts involved or 3-month-old babies.
And folks, that's the end of that story. So we'll never know if it was a good bachelorette party or not.
We'll never know. Some things are just never meant to be known. My friends' kids are greedy with food, and I don't want them over again.
I don't know. Maybe you should feed them.
No. Let them fight for it. I, 28 female, have 2 kids, and for my son's birthday, about a little over a month ago, we decided to celebrate on the weekend by taking a trip to the big water park about an hour away. We wanted to keep the guest list small since we were already doing something at home on his actual birthday. The drive is far, and admission is pretty pricey. By the way, this comes from user AdSimilar3960 on the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit, and if you want to submit your own stories, why don't you go on down to the OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. So I created a Facebook event, and I invited a few of our closest family and friends, stating that all guests would pay for themselves. This ain't free. We'd provide lunch, cupcakes, and a meeting area with shade and decorations. When I was going through my friends list, I accidentally clicked on someone, 24 female, let's call her Sarah, who wasn't originally on my guest list. Sarah is someone I'm not super close with. I only met her through mutual friends. She's never been invited to any of my children's birthday parties before, since we mostly only see each other at events through mutual friends a couple times a year. We don't hang out on our own terms, and while her kids and mine are somewhat the same ages, they're not close friends by any means. Sarah's kids are rude, entitled, and get unlimited, unsupervised screen time and say cuss words, the exact opposite of my children. When I created the Facebook event, I didn't even realize I'd clicked her name until I got the notification that she had marked herself as going. I checked the settings, and no, it's invite by host only. Crap, I just seen her at a previous event and figured it would be rude to uninvite her now. So what's the harm in adding a couple more people, right? Wrong. Sarah has 4 kids, all between 5 months and 6 years old. She's unfortunately raised some red flags within our friend group regarding not showing up as a good friend, setting bad examples for her kids, and getting too involved in others' business, borrowing money, and issues surrounding food consumption. It's a lot of issues. Sarah's family noticeably eats more than any other family at events. At my bestie Tatiana's daughter's birthday party, Sarah alone ate 5 slices of pizza, her fiance 4, and her 2 oldest children each ate 3. That's 16 slices for her family alone. When the pizza arrived, they were first in line and took the majority before others could eat. Tatiana and her husband didn't even get a slice because they waited for everyone else, and the birthday girl herself only got 1 slice. So people noticed and whispered, but no one said anything. That's the problem. Then at Thanksgiving, another friend, Kaylee, invited Tatiana for Friendsgiving. During a group FaceTime, Tatiana mentioned going to Kaylee's. Sarah mentioned she'd be in town visiting in-laws, so Kaylee politely said if she had time to stop by for a quick visit, she'd love to see her. Sarah apparently took this as a dinner invitation. Yep, that's what you did. You invited her to dinner. You can't be mad that she's going to show up after you're like, I'd love it if you could stop by.
We're going to be having a dinner. You should totally swing through.
So, later, Sarah texted Kaylee saying she was too tired to visit, but asking if Kaylee could make her a to-go plate with leftovers and meet her at the door. Kaylee was appalled. She'd never invited Sarah to dinner, and to ask for leftovers in the same breath as declining to visit is unreal. Now, back to my son's birthday party. The water park admission is expensive with no group discounts. If your child is above 36 inches tall, they pay full price. Sarah doesn't work, and her fiance is between jobs. She mentioned to Tatiana that she didn't have a babysitter for her youngest and was broke, asking to borrow money for admission. She's food insecure. They're food insecure.
And you clearly know this from what you're typing.
I mean, you should be able to gather that from
Context
this
clues,
a little bit.
girl. Get 2 extra pizzas. Send them home with pizza. Leftover pizza. Here you go. You want to take this home?
That's a pretty rough situation. Can't really get your own job as Sarah because you got 5 kids. And then
Can't pay for
husbands in between
babysitter.
jobs. That's illegal. Can't do that. Not allowed. So Sarah's asking money to borrow for admission. Tatiana, who Sarah still owed money to from before, explained she couldn't afford to pay for Sarah's family on top of her own. Sarah got noticeably irritated and ended the call. 2 days before the event, I called Sarah to confirm attendance. She said she wasn't sure but would let me know. She never did. The day of the party, I ordered a big Costco sandwich platter, chips, candy, and fruit and veggie platters. More than enough for my confirmed guests. Everyone starts arriving, and walking through the crowd, I see Sarah, her fiance, and their 4 kids. I had no problem with them coming, but a heads up would have been great.
I mean, she did originally invite RSVP, yes.
You do
So
kind of.
I would have assumed they were coming.
During the party, their family ate most of the food because they don't have any. As I was cleaning up before singing happy birthday, Sarah asked if there were more sandwiches left. Their family had all already eaten. I opened the platter and there were only 6 sandwich halves left. Sarah grabbed 3 halves. Her fiance reached in and took 2 more, leaving only 1 half.
Yes, 'cause that's 5 for the 5 of them and their family.
That's pretty wild.
Yes, it does sound like the family lacks a lot of
Tact.
The tact in how they're going about it. Like, the birthday person should eat first. Like, they should hold back and just take a little bit of it at a time. At the same time, no one else is in a place where they're showing up to a party hungry, and now they're around food that they're allowed to grab. Like, give them way more grace than you're giving them.
Yeah,
but they could have better etiquette about how they go about it.
both sides need to be like, yeah, I agree. Gayla says everyone sucks here. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Both sides need to be going about the way that they communicate better. If you're food insecure and your friend
Yeah.
group doesn't know, you don't need to keep it a secret.
Right.
And if you have someone in your group who's like eating all of your food all the time and you're like, why are they doing this? You need to like have a conversation with them about it.
Are you guys okay? Do you need food?
Because it's like, I don't know, some people who've grown up and like never had food insecurity, it could be like, oh, like I almost don't even think about that being an option. And it's like, you're lucky. Okay, when my daughter asked for a sandwich, I gave her that last piece. I, the one who paid for the platter, only got to eat 1 half because I was busy chasing my kids and hosting. Sarah's kids had been asking, when's it time for cupcakes? Every few minutes, despite my repeated explanations. Once I set the cupcakes out, before I could even grab a lighter for the candles, Sarah's daughter pushed past me and stuck her fingers directly into the blue icing on the cupcake at the top of the 3-tier stand, the exact one I was going to put my son's candle on. I was furious. I told her not to stick her fingers in the cupcakes and to sit down and wait like everyone else or she wouldn't get any. She ran away crying to find her dad. I didn't care. Don't touch my son's cupcakes. They may be like down on their luck and food insecure, but it sounds like
Everyone's
they are
getting a
raising
cupcake.
gremlins.
Yeah. You
Like-
don't stick your finger in the cupcake.
Anyway, after we sang, I handed out cupcakes to everyone. With Sarah's last-minute addition, there was only enough for everyone to have 1 cupcake each. I announced this from the start. Oh, while I was helping my daughter in the bathroom, Sarah's kids decided to help themselves to seconds. Every other child had 1 cupcake only. Sarah's kids each got 2. Sarah's family ate most of the food and were also the only ones to not bring a gift. Not that gifts are required, but I've never shown up to a party empty-handed, especially one I didn't confirm attendance for, but they did. Now, my daughter's 3rd birthday is coming up next month. I'd never invited Sarah to any of my children's parties before, since we're not close and our children aren't really friends. I want to keep it small with super tight close friends and family who are a part of her everyday life. I also don't want to invite Sarah because she's not a close friend and her family of 6 eats enough food for a family of 16. That's a stretch. I'm worried that since she was invited to one party, she might expect future invitations and be offended if she doesn't get one. Every single other person from my son's party will be invited to my daughter's party. I'll only be excluding Sarah's family. She loves drama and makes petty comments when excluded, and my anxiety, combined with my people-pleasing tendencies, has me overthinking this. So would I be the a-hole for not inviting someone to my daughter's birthday party because they have poorly behaved kids and their family eats too much? At the end of the day, even if I am the a-hole, I really don't want to invite people to my child's birthday party who don't have a meaningful connection with her. And we have some comments.
Yeah.
Everyone sucks here, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to learn how to talk and be real with each other. All right? Because
Yeah.
y'all kind of suck for not just being like, hey, not cool how your kids are acting and not cool. Are you guys, why are you guys doing this? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need food? You want to go, let's go to the food pantry. Let's go do something. There's got to be local resources somewhere for people who have food insecurity. Comment to number 1. You're the a-hole for allowing yourself to be treated that way. Not the a-hole for not inviting rude, entitled people to your events. Got him.
It's not
Got
where I
us in the
thought that
first
was
half.
going.
Woo! You aren't supposed to or expected to do that to yourself or your other guests. A reply says, I'm betting it won't work to just not invite her since she got invited before. She may find a way to insert herself into the party. I think you should call her and tell her exactly why she isn't invited to your house for the party and will not be invited in the future to any event you have. Bullies need to be put in their place. Every situation needs a hero, and you should be the hero here. Allowing her and her family to join in caused your child to be deprived of fully enjoying the party. It would even be better if the other moms joined you in a conference call since they've been bullied as well. No, you psycho. What are we talking about?
Also, was your 3-year-old's party ruined? Does your 3-year-old remember the birthday party?
Guys, we don't need to all gang up on them and be like, you're excluded and you're banned because you keep taking all the food. You're crazy for that, commenter. These people probably need this food because they don't have any money and they might not have any food. But they're wrong for not saying it, and you're wrong for not being like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
They are bullies, and you all need to stand up to them and let them know they are not welcome. And if they show up after that, politely but firmly let them know they must leave. Comment 2 says, OP, you need to grow a dang backbone. No way am I letting someone just come in and eat everything without calling them out. I'm an a-hole like that. Comment 3 says, not the a-hole, no need to lie either. If asked, you say your family shoves food down their throats like a bunch of offensive linemen, and I can't afford that. That is, I guarantee you, something this person would never say in their life.
It's a Costco
That's an absurd thing to say.
Of sandwiches.
This is not the caviar and gold leaf hamburger.
Right. We didn't
whatever,
get individual restaurant meals. We got a platter of subs.
Come on.
Platter of hoagies, if you will.
And that's the end of that story.
Oh, damn. Okay.
That's, again, a crazy comment. I haven't been food insecure, but I know people who have been, and it's like a horrible place to be. And it's crazy, to... Again, I guess if you've never been there sometime, or you don't know anyone who's been there, it could be something you completely overlook as a possibility. But that's so clearly what's going on here.
That's what it feels like for
Very
sure, yeah.
clear. If it's not, then they're just goblin people, but
Yeah.
that's what's happening.
I still
I
am
would
on
bet
the,
everything on it.
everyone sucks a little bit there, but help each other out.
I don't even know if sucks is the right word. It's just the situation sucks. Everyone needs to
Yeah.
do better at communicating.
My brother pulls scams for a living, and our parents support him.
That's bad.
I, 26 female, have 2 brothers, Bobby, 28 male, and Carl, 24 male. My dad, 65 male, has his own company, where Bobby is employed. Bobby still lives with my parents, with his wife. They've been married since 2021. I've been living in X country since finishing high school. I got my degree there and am currently working in the same country. Carl is working in a multinational company in our home country directly after graduating college. He's been living in another city since his employment. By the way, this comes from Throwaway0709, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. Our family has been dealing with a problem regarding Bobby. Since early 2022, Bobby works in a certain company. His task is to look for people to invest their money for certain projects. The company promised profit returns after 6 months. The problem is none of the investors have received their initial investment, and the promised profit up until this point, July 2023, according to the info I got from my parents, the amount of investments may have reached $150,000. That's a lot of money for our country.
That's a lot of money in this country. What?
I don't know whether the money was really used for the projects, but those projects weren't gaining profits as planned, or the company simply scammed people. I'm going with scammed people. Because Bobby's the one who looked for investors, those who invest are, of course, mostly people he knows.
Oh, wow.
His relationships with friends and acquaintances are ruined. Bobby's constantly bombarded with texts from people asking about their money. Some people came to our house looking for Bobby. He is often not at home to greet these investors, so my dad has to be the one to deal with them. Some even demanded my dad to pay back their money. Oh my god. I also invested about $5,000 in that company. It was a huge amount for me because I have only just started working and saving money. Yes, I was naive and short-sighted, and I trusted Bobby at that time. I was promised the investment by February 2023, but I haven't received my money until now. I don't think I will be getting my investment money back. I take this as a huge learning opportunity with quite a price. Bobby chose to continue working for that company, even though there's no hope in that company. Dad said they couldn't even pay their monthly office space rent since about June 2022, which means the company isn't getting any profit. Why does Dad know this? The debt collector went to our house and demanded the rent be paid. Bobby said he likes being in that company because the employees are young, and he gets along with them. He doesn't seem to care or feel guilty that he's made people lose their money. He often got angry at the investors because they kept on asking him about their investments. The crazy thing is, Bobby isn't paid by that company. He isn't even an employee. He's basically just a lackey. Bobby is very loyal to that company and would drive every week to another city to do things for that company. He's usually gone for 2 to 3 days. Nowadays, it's more like 5 to 6 days. He's using my dad's, car and his own money from my dad to do business errands for that company. Bobby has never provided for himself. He has never really earned money in his life, maybe a little. On paper, he's still working for my dad. Dad still pays his salary, which is higher than normal wages for his competence monthly, even though he didn't do any work for him due to him being so invested in that scamming company. Dad said Bobby doesn't want to apply for work. He only works for people who offer him a job, who will, of course, exploit him because he's desperate and stupid enough to take that job. I think Bobby just doesn't have any confidence in him. Bobby also had a history of working for an MLM. I used to send money to my family, including Bobby monthly. I would transfer the money to his account, and he would distribute it to my parents and Carl. Back then, when I first started sending money home, I gave him instructions on how to divide the money. Basically, everyone got a fifth, and the last fifth was used for house supplies and groceries. During my last holiday at home, I asked Mom how much money Bobby gave her that month, and it was less than a fifth. Moreover, Mom also told me that his wife doesn't know that he gets money from me every month. Dad also said that his wife may not know that Bobby got bonus money from my dad, even though he doesn't do any work for Dad, which means Bobby can't be trusted about money anymore. I don't think Bobby could have ever been trusted about money from the sounds of it.
I don't think anyone in your family can be trusted about money right now. What's going on? Including you. Why are you still paying your brother?
Yeah.
What's going on?
What are we doing?
What's going on?
You said the title of this was that your parents still support Bobby. You still support Bobby.
You just said you're still paying him.
After the conversations with my parents, I stopped sending Bobby money and transferred any money home to Dad's account. Another thing about money. Bobby has borrowed money from Carl and probably from other people as well, which he hasn't returned yet. The more annoying side of this problem is Bobby starts to act more and more like a man-child. He's often irritated and angry at Dad, Mom, and his wife. He ruined my last holiday at home with his tantrums. It got to a point where I don't want to spend my precious holiday time with him in the future. Bobby also has made Mom cry multiple times through his actions and words. Bobby is one of the major reasons why Dad is constantly stressed to the point of him having digestion problems. Dad still has to keep on working, even at 65, to provide everything, even though he's supposed to enjoy his life at that age. I think Bobby doesn't have any friends anymore because of his scamming company. He used to have a lot of friends and hang out with them often. No one's on his side now besides the scamming company and maybe his wife. I think even his wife is now starting to get sick of him. My parents are worried about Bobby's relationship with his wife. I do sense a divorce coming if Bobby doesn't get his act together. I mean, I wouldn't be able to put up with what his wife has to go through. Bobby and his wife had only been dating for about 2 months before they decided to get married. I think Bobby hasn't provided anything, or very little, financially to his marriage. His wife works at her mother's company, so she is not financially dependent on him. Bobby is charismatic and has a way with words. I think that's why his in-laws were convinced to marry their daughter off to him. Oh.
Oh.
So it might have been arranged.
An arranged marriage.
I asked his mother-in-law jokingly why she let them get married after such a short period of dating. She said he is mature. He does give off that vibe. Bobby's in-laws are now utterly disappointed in him.
I mean, like, rightfully so.
During a video call with my parents yesterday, they told me that Dad and Bobby have made an agreement. By the end of 2023, Bobby needs to make a choice. Stay in the shady company and not get paid by Dad anymore. Work with my dad with a higher salary. Yeah, I know Dad still desperately wants Bobby to work in his company. Work somewhere else if Bobby decides to work for Dad's company. Dad will somehow find a way to help him with the lost investment money, which means Dad will pay back the victim's money. Not all of them, only those that Dad knows personally, but still.
I'm only paying by the people we scammed personally.
Only the ones that can come and be mad at us,
Yeah,
though.
the people whose faces I do not know,
I
we'll
don't
never
care
see their
about
money
them.
again.
I find this to be the most baffling thing Dad has ever said regarding this whole thing. How is Bobby supposed to learn from his mistakes and go through the consequences if Dad bails him out all the time? Another big what the F moment. Dad plans to build Bobby a house so he can live there with his wife. The problem is Bobby clearly doesn't want to work for my dad. He told my mom that he's jealous of me and Carl because we can do whatever we want. Well, we don't. We obeyed Dad to a certain degree, but then tried to make something good out of the situation. Bobby just wallows up in his whole woe is me attitude and blames Dad for all his traumas. I told Dad to stop giving Bobby any money anymore so Bobby can learn some consequences and snap out of it. But Dad said you shouldn't be cruel to family. He doesn't have the heart.
You're being cruel to him by, like, keeping him in a perpetual state of helplessness.
He doesn't have the heart to just cut his financial support for Bobby, and also said, I can't do this to my own child. I am torn between feeling frustrated, angry, and sad. Frustrated with Dad for enabling Bobby, angry towards Bobby for treating my parents and his wife like crap and taking advantage of them because he knows they won't leave him, and sad that I'm kind of losing my older brother, that he's no longer his old self. Bobby's actually a nice and dependable person. I think he's lost, depressed, and ashamed of himself, but doesn't know what to do. I used to call Bobby often. After the investment thing, he stopped contacting me. I think out of fear of being asked about my money. By the way, you should never fear running out of episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's how many days, Dakota?
69?
Start listening.
Nothing funny about that.
Nothing at all. Right now, I honestly don't have the mental and emotional capacity to keep any contact with him. I also grew to loathe video calls with my parents because I know they will vent about Bobby, and I will be left angry and frustrated for the next days or even weeks. I am angrier that they can't see the problem with them enabling Bobby's behavior. I really don't know what to do at this point. I feel bad for everyone involved to varying degrees, but don't see any way out without Bobby changing himself. And I think every sensible person knows that we can't change a person unless that person wants to. I only have 3 questions for my fellow Redditors. Maybe someone could give me different perspectives on this whole mess. I plan to do an honest talk with Bobby. Will that make a difference for the better, or should I just remain silent? Is there a way I can make my parents, especially my dad, realize that their behavior is contributing to Bobby's reluctance to change? What can Bobby do to improve his situation? That's the end of that.
Take responsibility and have personal accountability and, like, cold water. This is a cold water moment. You can't continue to do the same thing, which is like, it's okay, Bobby. Like, we'll figure it out. It needs to be like, you really messed up, Bobby. And now it's like a make or break moment where you need to fix it.
Right.
Bootstrap up.
The issue is
Cowboy
OP has
time.
done that. OP's stopped sending them money. It's like fully their dad now.
Yeah, and if that's going to be the case, then I don't know. There's not anything you can do about it. He's still his own person. He's an adult. He's going to be able to make his own decisions and take his own actions. And if he decides to not change and not take any action, then there's not much else you can do about it.
Yeah.
Other than removing
it
yourself
stinks.
from the equation.
I feel like it's kind of just like you're stuck until someone else like snaps onto your side, and then you guys have like manpower.
Yeah.
Go for his wife. Get his wife on your side.
Get him. Get his
Yeah.
wife.
Get her.